Rinseless wash versus soap, which one's better and when to use what. And in today's video, we're going to talk about just that. So let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Gloss Garage, where we make detailing simple. And today, like I said, we're going to talk about soaps versus rinseless and which ones I like to use more. But before we go ahead and get started in depth about each single one, soaps versus rinseless, which one I prefer. I prefer rinseless, especially if you're maintaining your vehicle on a week-to-week basis or a bi-weekly basis, just because it's so much quicker. You use less water and it's very efficient and it's very safe. You have surfactant based or polymer based, depending on which one you want, and it's just less water. I don't have to rinse off after to go ahead and dry the panel. I could just go ahead and do one spray, as opposed to the 2-bucket wash method. I need 2 buckets, or even just a foam wash. After I foam down the wash, I go ahead and have to rinse off the soap. But they're both great in their own world, as opposed to a soap that, if you're really gonna do some deconning and prepping the paint, I like to use a soap. Just that way I'm able to deep clean the pores of the paint before I do any other type of stuff. That doesn't mean you can't do it with a rinseless wash. You could use a rinseless wash, then iron remover, then water spot remover, but you're constantly gonna have to rinse it, because the whole purpose of prepping the paint is to make it as bare and naked bones as possible, as opposed to rinseless washes. They're really great for maintaining your vehicle after you've done the whole prep and actually put on some protection, so that way it stays cleaner for longer. And again, it's much easier to go ahead and maintain your vehicle that way. It takes me about 20 minutes to wash a car with the rinseless, wheels included, as opposed to doing a 2-bucket wash soap when it comes to taking out the hose, reeling out the hose, filling up the bucket, putting down the soap, doing my contact wash and having to rinse down the soap, then going ahead. It's just so much more work as opposed to a rinseless. So those are the two, and now I'm going to talk about when to fully use both. And yeah, so I'm going to go in depth. You have different types of classifications of soaps. You have your decon soaps, and I have a list over here so you guys can go ahead and see. But I have decon soaps, pH balance or pH neutral soaps. They're not the same. Just pH balance just means it's slightly higher on the alkaline scale, on the pH scale, which is about 8 or 8.5. And then you got your pH neutral, which is pretty much just straight pH neutral. I don't like to use pH neutral soaps, but I'll get into that later. Then you got your foaming soaps, kind of like MB Snow Plus. You got Adams Mega Foam, etc., to go ahead and foam it up if you're going to use a pressure washer. And that way you could go ahead and blanket your vehicle with foam for the pre-treatment. And then you also have your regular rinseless washes. And one thing I didn't add about the soaps is I don't have any here, but I typically don't like to use any types of soaps before I talk about rinseless washes. To stay in the categories of soaps, is I don't have any soaps with protection, meaning I don't have like Chemical Guys citrus washing gloss, Adams graphene shampoo, McKee's 37 graphene shampoo. Those are the type of stuff I like to stay away from for me and my business, because my point of my business is either maintaining the vehicle correctly as a professional or prepping the vehicle from A to Z. So that is the point of me for my business. But if, say, you already have your last standing protection, say your car's already coated or you've already applied a sealant and you want to maintain it using those types of shampoos, more power to you. But for me is I want to make sure that I'm cleaning the vehicle thoroughly before I add any type of protection, or I want to see what is the protection is telling me based on when I am washing the vehicle. If I'm washing the vehicle and I'm using a shampoo that has some wax or graphene or ceramic protection, I'm defeating the purpose of actually doing my job on these maintenance washes to understand whether the coating is clogged or not clogged, because then I'm giving myself a false sense of hope, and same thing to my customer, that I am not providing the best type of service for them. So that's why I don't carry soaps with protection. Now, as we move on to rinseless washes, you have different types of rinseless washes. You have polymer and surfactants, but I'll get to that once I get deeper into the video. And then also you have your rinseless washes with protection, and like I said, I'll get into detail with that right after. But let's go ahead and get started and when to use each. And this is how I use them in my business. And whether you're a DIYer, you could go ahead and grab one of each, have fun with it, experiment, see what works for you. And that's it. As a DIYer, you have time to play around with these chemicals and understand them a lot more and use them to your best of abilities, because you're doing it for the best interest of your vehicle, as well as I am doing for the best interest of the vehicles for my customers. But I am on a timely basis, so it's not like I could test every single one. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So as we start off with the decon soaps, I do want to start off with, this is the best thing I like to start with if I'm prepping a vehicle for a ceramic coating, whether it's a brand new vehicle, old vehicle, used vehicle, abused vehicle, it does not matter. If I am prepping the vehicle from A to Z to make sure that the customer says, I'm polishing the vehicle, I want some last step protection, this is what I am going after. And the reason for this is I want to make sure that the vehicle is bare bones, help make my process a lot easier, meaning deep clean the pores, remove those water spot minerals, etc., stuff like that. So for example, you have Oberk APS all-purpose soap. This is an all-purpose soap. It's a very strong, high alkaline type of soap, and it also attacks salt minerals, water spots, and calcium deposits. So, and I have just about a little bit left. These are the type of soaps that you really want to use to go ahead and minimize the steps later. I apologize for the noise. My neighbors are grinding something. But this is what I really enjoy using. Then after this, I also like to use Car D-Scale. This is what I enjoy to do on a maintenance wash. When I mean maintenance wash for my customers is when they come once every 4 months, I love to use this type of soap, because this is specifically means, and it says it right here, it's a powerful and versatile acidic car shampoo. It's an acidic type of shampoo for hard water and tough dirt. And this really helps unclog all the ceramic coatings and protection. If you have a sealant, it's not the best, it's not wise, because the sealant typically lasts about 3 to 6 months here in New York, depending on how you maintain it. And then if, say, 2 months pass, 3 months pass, and I go ahead and use this, I'm not really unclogging anything. If anything, I'm just deep cleaning the pores of the paint, but it's not for like protection wise to boost up your protection properties. But this is a perfect way to go ahead and maintain your vehicle. Once every quarter, it's good to go ahead and clean the pores in general, especially if you have a long-standing protection like a ceramic coating or a strong spray coating of your choice. And these are the ones I have. And in terms of honorable mentions that I've used before my business, I have McKee's 37 Prep Wash. You have Griot's Garage Surface Prep. Glass Parency S1 Soap is that heavy duty soap. And also 3D heavy duty soap shampoo. I forgot which it's called. But yeah, so those are the ones that you really want to use to go ahead and deep clean the pores of the paint. And next up, we got the foaming one. So I have NV Snow Plus, which is an amazing one. Then you have Built Hamber. You have Car Geon Foam. You also got Chemical Guys Sticky Snowball. It's not really good. Adams Mega Foam and Ethos Foam Party. I'm not really a huge fan of a lot of foaming shampoos, and here's the reason. There's only two that I really enjoy, which is the NV Snow Plus and the Built Hamber. Why? Because they actually really deep clean and they're higher on the alkalinity scale as opposed to Adams Mega Foam and stuff like that. They don't really deep clean the pores and before the contact wash. So like Built Hamber Touchless, I think that's what it's called, that I've used before. It's great and it really deep cleans the pores. So when you do your pre-wash and you rinse it off, pretty much the paint is fully clean as possible. But those are really the only two snow foams that I really enjoy a lot. I'm not sure if Labo Cosmetica got one. I think they have like a two-step foam. I think it's A and B. One's an acidic and one's a basic or maniac. I'm not too sure. I think they have one. But yeah, so this is great for that, and Lithium Car Care has one as well. So those are like the top 4 I would suggest to go ahead and use. Now, next is your regular pH balance or your maintenance shampoos or pH neutrals. Me as a business, I don't like to use pH neutral shampoos because for me, it defeats the purpose. I really like to enjoy and see how the vehicle is reacting, and pH balance are a little bit higher on the pH scale, meaning pH of 8, that they clean a little bit deeper than a pH 7 or pH neutral type of shampoo, because it doesn't, pH 7 or pH neutral shampoos doesn't really help clean the traffic film and dirt off the paint, what I've noticed before. And these are great and versatile if you want to use it both as a foam or a contact wash. These are great as for its MV Snow Plus. Is really just really only good for snow foam. It's still slick, but not as slick as these. But me as a business, I don't like to use pH neutral shampoos. I use pH balance because, like I said, I like to maintain the vehicle and make sure I'm deep cleaning the vehicle on a maintenance wash. These are for all the vehicles that come in once a month that I go ahead and wash and take care of, that are ceramic coated or have a sealant that I've applied to go ahead and make sure I'm actually cleaning the dirt, grime, and traffic film that's on the paint. And pH balance shampoos are amazing for that. So I got some honorable mentions, which is like Car Pro Reset that I've used. I've used Griot's Garage Car Soap. It's on a 7.5. I'm not really gonna say it's pH neutral. It's still pretty much pH neutral. Adam's Car Shampoo is a pH neutral soap. Then you got Honeydew from Chemical Guys. Gion Bathe is a great one, or Bathe Plus. Those are some really good. That's a really good deep cleaning type of pH balance shampoos. But yeah, so those are what I like to use. But at the moment, this is what I have in my business: is the Owner's Pride Ultra Wash, Incredible Suds, and PNS Pearl Shampoo. Now, let's talk about rinseless washes. You have 2 different types. I'm not gonna sit here and try to confuse you too much, but why I love rinseless washes so much is because it takes me 20 minutes to go ahead and detail a vehicle, and especially if I am doing a maintenance wash on a vehicle that I see bi-weekly, or not bi-weekly, but once every bi-monthly. If I see it twice a month, I'll go ahead and typically use a rinseless wash. And then probably once after the 3rd rinseless wash, I go ahead and use a car soap just to go ahead and see how the last standing protection that I applied is performing. Now, for a polymer base, I don't really like polymer base rinseless at the moment, but from what I heard is the Maniac came out with their rinseless wash that is polymer base, and it actually cleans the towel. So if you guys haven't seen Eddie Cologne's video on the rinseless wash using the Maniac rinseless wash, check out that video. It's pretty awesome. That's literally the first polymer rinseless wash that I actually see clean the towel and actually remove the dirt and stuff from the sponge. As opposed to ONR, ONR V3 was good, but not afterwards V4 and V5. But those are the polymer base that's really awesome. So go ahead and watch that. Absolute, it does the job. It doesn't really clean, and I just don't like the thickness of this. But I'm gonna put this to the side, and I use a bunch of this, so it's not something that I'm just saying I don't like. I've tested and tried it, and I've gave it so many times or so many tries that it just didn't work for me. But as surfactant base, I do enjoy a lot of surfactant base. So there's a lot of honorable mentions for, you got McKee's N914, you have the Drive Auto Appearance, you have the Wolfgang Uber Rinseless Wash, Griot's Garage Rinseless Wash, you also have polymer base Phoenix Hydra, Oberk Rinseless, and Adams Hoseless. They changed it from rinseless to hoseless. But yeah, so that's enough about the rinseless wash. Of the honorable mentions, you guys go ahead and I'll bring it up closer so you guys can go ahead and see. But those are the ones that I've used. The ice cream lady with the ice, it was just close by and was just beeping the horn so much. But yeah, so back to the rinseless. Pretty much, I prefer surfactant-based type of rinseless, kind of like Drive Auto Appearance, DIY Detail, Owner's Pride Eco Wash. As you can see, I used a bunch of this. I gotta hide this from Ivan because Ivan probably see this and like, yo, you use that much Eco Wash? Yes, I do enjoy Eco Wash a lot as well. And I prefer surfactant based because they actually clean the media and actually deep clean the pores of the paint as compared to a polymer base. But I have to try the Maniac's Rinseless Wash, so once I get my hands on that, I will try it out and let's see if everything is true. Now the next one that I really enjoy and I use once in a while is, and here's the thing, this is really the only rinseless wash with protection that I use in my business is a rinseless wash and wax. I've used these before, but not as my business, just as a personal use to go ahead and try. But the reason why I like the McKee's N914 rinseless wash and wax is stuff that, for example, I seen a customer a week ago and he comes every week. Once in a while, I'll go ahead and use a McKee's N914 wash and wax, just because of the simple fact that it still cleans amazingly well. If you guys haven't checked that video on how it cleans phenomenal. But I just don't like to stack too much SiO2 protection over and over and over again, because something that you guys may not know is that if you stack too much protection on top of each other, SiO2, 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 eventually you caking on too much protection, and then when you start drying, that's when you get those streaky effects, or sometimes it's not fully drying. That's because you caked on way too much protection. So the best way to go ahead and take care of that is doing a decon wash if you want to go ahead and clean the pores of the paint, or really remove as much of that protection that you've caked on so much a little bit, and go ahead and reset your vehicle. But this is something that a rinseless wash and wax only lasts about 2 weeks on the paint. So if you see a customer every week or so, this is a great alternative. If it's not that dirty and you want to speed up the process, it gives amazing shining gloss, and it's something, like I said, it just lasts about 2 to 3 weeks on the paint. So this way you're adding protection and it's not caking on itself so much. So eventually when it comes back again, it's pretty much back to its ceramic coating or sealant that's on top of it. So it's a great way to go ahead. I don't like to use SiO2 protections because they last too long, especially if they come every 2 weeks or so, or every week. That SiO2 protection on the rinseless wash is supposed to last about a month to 2 months, and that's way too much durability for me. And like I said before, I've used it on my own vehicle, my family's vehicle, and even one of my customers that I used it as a test when he came weekly. It started to get a little bit streaky and I was just caking too much of the SiO2 protection. So the best one I like to use is the McKee's N914 wash and wax. But yeah, so hopefully you guys found this informative. This is pretty much on how I like to use all these products and when to use what. If you want to be efficient and quick, after you already prep the vehicle, put your last standing protection, your sealant, your durable sealant, your durable spray coating, or your ceramic coating, I love to go in this route to go ahead and maintain my vehicle on a week-to-week basis. So this is what I recommend to my customers. If they don't have access to running water and they have a ceramic coating, I tell them get the surfactant-based rinseless wash. Go ahead and grab that. If you want to grab this, I tell them they could go ahead, but don't use it all the time. Just probably use it once every other wash, especially if they're washing their vehicle weekly. That way they're able to go ahead and maintain it. If you love the foam and you have a foam cannon and you have a pressure washer and stuff like that, you could use these pH balanced shampoos. They're amazing. You can go ahead and do the 2-bucket wash if that's therapeutic for you. Go ahead. That is fantastic. Also, I'm not a fan of a foamer. I feel like these are a bit of waste of time for me. So like I said, I just like to use this to give a little bit more foam in my APC or something to give it a little bit more cleaning power, and this is higher on the pH scale. And then last but not least, like I said before, these are for your maintenance wash if you're coming to me, or if you're doing your own maintenance wash and you know the customer gets a coating from me and they want to take care of the vehicle from here to the next 3 years. They don't want to come over and pay me. That's fine. This is what I recommend for them to do every 3 months. Use this. Just be cautious. Don't use it in direct sunlight. Don't leave it. Don't let it dry on the windows and stuff. You will get streaking and you will have to polish them. But these are the best ways that I like to go ahead and do my maintenance quarterly washes on all my ceramic coating vehicles. And this way I ensure I unclog the pores of the paint. and remove those water spot minerals. Or even if you park near a sprinkler, say a day before, 2 days ago, and they're still fresh, Car Pro D-Scale or APS or any type of decon type of wash will really tackle those minerals right away and unclog the pores of your paint, because sprinklers do have hard water. But yeah, so that's about it. So hopefully you guys like this type of content. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know what you guys use, if you guys agree with my process or what you guys think. And yeah, so other than that, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.